inside strike. Good crowd on hand. It'll be Cap weekend here tomorrow and Sunday. We advise you to come on out early. Gates will be open at 6 here tomorrow night, and at 6:30 they'll be showing the highlight films of the 1969 World Series when the Mets defeated Baltimore. That's a strike. And on Sunday the gates will open at noon, and at 12:30 they'll be showing films of the 1973 World Series between the Mets and the Oakland A's on Diamond Vision. So with the big crowds expected, again, come on out early. 1-2 pitch. Brooks's only play at first. He hesitated there. So the sacrifice working on the 1-2 offering. That's going 5-4. So Willie McGee, the batter, bounced out to the pitcher his only time up.
In the American League, Boston 4, Cleveland 2 after 1. Sorensen against Bergmeyer now. Ojeda knocked out of the box at the end of 3. Toronto 1, Oakland nothing. Kingman against Clancy. Baltimore with 5 runs in the first, leading the Yankees 5-2 after 1.5. Renicky and Ripken home runs. Morgan starting for the Yankees against Martinez, Dennis Martinez. Detroit against Milwaukee later. California against Chicago later, and Seattle against Kansas City later.
And that's a foul ball. Well, Willie McGee, the batter out of the Yankee organization, they're having their problems. They've lost 7 of their last 9 ball games. Mets not doing a whole lot better. Mets have lost 6 of their last 8. They salvaged that victory the other night against the Pirates on Wednesday night here. Foul back to the screen, and he's in the hole. 2 strikes. Randy Jones started out the season by winning his first 2 games against Philadelphia, both against Steve Carlton. Half of his victories this year have been saved by Neil Allen. Won 6 and lost 4. 2-strike pitch. And that's backing out of play. This is the first of a 3-game series. Then the Mets will be off to Pittsburgh and St. Louis. Well, if you don't get a chance to come out, there's Gene Tennis. He's going to be coming off the disabled list the next couple of days, Whitey Herzog was telling me tonight. In fact, he may take him off tomorrow. And that will necessitate somebody going to the minors. Pitch outside a ball. And this fellow, Willie McGee, off to a great start. He said, I would not want to go back, but he said I planned on being in AAA all year anyway. But it's doubtful they would send him down the way he's been going as he loops one into right center field. Here comes Ozzie Smith around to score, and it's a 3-0 ball game. 10th RBI of the year for McGee.
McGee is not going to go back to the minor leagues hitting like this. He takes an outside pitch and just lines it into right center field. Mookie Wilson over there did not have a play at the plate, and so the Mets are now down 3-0, and McGee getting his 10th run batted in.
So the 7th man to bat in the inning, Mike Ramsey, the batter, grounded out to short his only time up tonight. McGee not far off the base. We mentioned earlier the Cardinals leading the league in stolen bases with 74. And that's a strike. David Green is not in action tonight. They say when they've got McGee, Lonnie Smith, and David Green in the outfield, Lonnie Smith is the slowest of the 3. If you can believe that. Gardenhire, nice play, but not in time at second base. But a fine effort, and it'll go as an infield hit.
Well, we'll look at it again. Hitter hits it into the hole, and Gardenhire with a good play, but not in time against the speed of Willie McGee. Gardenhire playing an aggressive shortstop on that play, and with that base hit, George Bamberger out to the mound to talk to Randy Jones. Make that Bill Mambo Kent.
Please stand by. We are experiencing technical difficulties. As soon as they have been corrected, we shall return to our scheduled program.
Tired here in the second, but not before 8 men came to the plate. 3 runs scored on 5 hits and 2 men left on. Big blow, a 2-run homer by Darrell Porter as we go to the bottom of the second. Cardinals 3 and the Mets nothing. It'll be Foster, Stearns, and Youngblood. Now this word from Dotson.
It's another action-packed, full of excitement weekend at Belmont Park. Come out this Saturday for 9 thrilling races, and you'll get a free specially designed racing t-shirt. Come back this Sunday wearing your t-shirt, and you'll get free grandstand admission. What a weekend. Winning at Belmont Park. It's an unbeatable feeling.
Lorne Brown and Ralph Kiner back at Shea Stadium, and we apologize for our video problems, and that is trying to be alleviated as soon as possible, so we ask you to bear with us, and we'll give you a regular play-by-play here while we're without picture. George Foster will lead it off for the Mets in the second inning. Foster hitting .242, 7 homers and 26 RBIs. Foster got a big hit the other night in that 9th inning, drove in the tying run after having a stretch of being 0 for 13. But he got the RBI single that tied the ball game, and the Mets eventually won it in that same inning. It'll be Foster, Stearns, and Youngblood. Foster was set to go and then stepped out of the batter's box. Now back in, but he's going to wait as a plane goes overhead. Joaquin Andujar on the mound, retired the side in order in the first inning.
They had an incident in spring training between these two people, Andujar and George Foster. Don't think there's any love lost.
They played together in Indianapolis. Here's the pitch, and it's a called strike in the outside corner, about belt high. Andujar was up in '74 in AAA, and then the Reds sent him back to AA the next year, and then he was traded to Houston. Right-hander in the line, the 1-strike pitch, and a shot down the right field line, a base hit. Foster will head for second. Hernandez chasing it down, and Foster will be in there with a stand-up double. So neither team had a hit in the first inning, but the Cardinals led off the second with a 2-base hit that eventually produced 3 runs. And now the Mets coming up.
Right here, Andujar makes a good pitch on Foster, jams him, but Foster's strong enough that he muscles it by the first baseman, Keith Hernandez, who chases it down. Foster with an easy 2-base hit. And the Mets have their first runner on.
So John Stearns, the batter, the 8th leading hitter in the National League, hitting .310 with 3 homers and 15 RBIs. So a runner at second base, nobody out. Outfield playing Stearns to go the other way. Now he steps out. And we have our picture back with us, and we appreciate your indulgence. Tap right out in front of the plate, the only play to first base, and Foster had no chance to go off a second. And there's one down.
Foster could have gone to third because they would not make a play on him. They would throw to first base with his sure out, as Andujar had to come off that mound, but he decided to stay at second base.
Well, Porter was right out there directing him where to go. And told go to first. As Joel Youngblood steps up, hitting .246, 3 homers and 12 RBIs. Youngblood has started every game on this homestand. And the trading deadline will be over at midnight Pacific Coast time next Tuesday night. Youngblood playing out his option, as is Ellis Valentine. But Youngblood, as I mentioned, has been starting quite a bit, and the pitch outside of all. 2 balls, no strikes. Andujar was in that situation a year ago when he was traded to the Cardinals. He had not signed. He was in his free agency year. Went through the draft, but elected to sign with St. Louis as Youngblood fouls it off. 2 balls and a strike. So as we mentioned the other night, taking a gamble when a team does pick up a player in that situation, not knowing whether they're only going to have him for about a half a season or longer. It's the gamble they have to take, and many teams reluctant to do so. George Foster down at second base. So both Youngblood and Valentine wondering if they might be two of them gone by next Tuesday, as the third baseman Ramsey throws Youngblood out and they're 2 down. So 2 out, and Hubie Brooks the batter. Brooks hitting .262, no homers, 22 RBIs, and his 22nd won the ball game the other night. Though it was a fielder's choice, he was credited with his 5th game-winning hit of the year. Though he has still struggled, 1 hit in his last 16 trips to the plate. This since coming back after that slight hamstring pull over the left leg. 3-0, St. Louis out in front. Outside a ball.
So far, Andujar has been missing with his curveball and using his sinking fastball to pick up his outs.
And that pitch misses. 2 balls, no strikes. A leadoff double by George Foster. He's now at second with 2 down. But after that breaking ball, looked like it was going to be over the plate, but it broke away from him. I'd say, why would he swing at a pitch like that? But it's moving in, and then all of a sudden when you go after it, it breaks away. There's not much hope a hitter has in that situation. Two-one delivery. That will even it up. So the Mets now in their next 9 ball games, 6 of them will be against St. Louis. So a chance to pick up some ground as Ron Gardenhire waits his turn. Mets 4.5 games behind St. Louis. 2-2 pitch. Low, just missed. Well, the count filled up. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Most hitters in this spot would look for the fastball. Andujar can't afford to walk the batter and bring up the tying run.
He did. And it was a fastball, but high and outside. So the first walk given up by Andujar, who had walked only 15 in 93 innings coming into tonight's game. So Ron Gardenhire, the batter, hitting .229 with 14 RBIs. Runners at first and second, Brooks and Foster. Tap to the left side, and the shortstop Ozzie Smith gets it over to Tommy Herr in time, and that retires the side. No runs, 1 hit, 2 men left on. So we're at the end of 2 complete innings of play. St. Louis 3 and the Mets nothing. It'll be Hendrick, Smith, and Porter to bat in the third. George Hendrick will lead it off as we go to the third. Cardinals out in front here by a score of 3-0. Big blow, a 2-run homer by Darrell Porter. Hendrick flat out to center, his only time up, and he singles on the first pitch. So that is the 6th hit in the last 2 innings off of Randy Jones. Lonnie Smith, the batter. He triggered that 3-run inning in the second with a double, leading it off. Hendrick over at first with 6 stolen bases. Keith Hernandez with 11. Lonnie Smith with 11. Correction, that's Ozzie Smith with 11. Lonnie's got 24. 1 ball, 1 strike. If there would be a weakness on this Cardinal ball club as you look at what they've done all year, it would be the opposite of what they've done stolen base wise, and that's a swing and a miss. They have had problems throwing people out. They have only thrown out 17 men while 54 have been successful. Smith leading the league in runs scored with 47. And he's got 48 with that run scored here tonight as he fouls it back. 1 ball, 2 strikes. But yet the Cardinals have had a lot of problems in their catching this year with injuries. Both Darrell Porter and Gene Tennis have been on the disabled list. But Porter off and Tennis getting ready to come back tomorrow or the next day. Ground ball left side. Brooks, nice play over to second. Not in time at first. That ball looked like it might get through the scissoring infielders, but Brooks with a good stop and getting the force out.
No chance at all for Gardenhire to make this play, so Brooks cutting off a base hit and picking up the force at second base. And then the good speed of Lonnie Smith keeping the Mets from making their double play. So Kingman coming up with the ball out of the dirt, and we have an exchange of base runners at first base as Lonnie Smith takes over.
So Darrell Porter, the batter, a 2-run homer his first time up. He had a couple of big years at Kansas City. 27 homers in 78, 23 in 79. He's only had 28 over the last 2 seasons. As Smith back in time. He has stolen 24 times and been thrown out 11. Ball 2. When Porter hit that home run, the ball was up to him just a little above the belt, and he drove it. On top of the Mets bullpen, that extended area down in right field. Swinging another drive, but it is curving foul and out of play. Two balls and a strike. George Bamberger keeping an eye on Randy Jones as the Mets have activity in their bullpen. Porter, a Missouri boy, born in Joplin. And he has played for both professional clubs in Missouri.
Jones has one of the best moves to first base.
He'll need one with these guys, as will the rest of the Mets pitching staff in this series. There he goes. Check swing, throw down to second. Looked like Gardenhire had him, but Smith is in there with his 25th stolen base of the year.
And it's a breaking ball. Stearns quickly getting the ball away, and it's in the dirt. And because it was in the dirt, Gardenhire unable to move the glove in time to pick up the runner.
That's a better angle there. You could see that he did get his foot on the bag before the tag was made, whereas the other view, and this time he jerks it foul into the second deck in right field. 3 balls, 2 strikes. That's a nice thing about the different angle shots, that one that you may not catch it or it looked like somebody was out, Then get the other angle and you see for sure, and that's what just happened. Good work by our camera crew here at Channel 9. 3-2 pitch. He got that up high, and it's a base hit, and the Cardinals will go out in front by a score of 4-0.
And that's probably the last pitch that Randy Jones will throw in this game. Randy walking back to the mound, but also walking to the mound is George Bamberger. So Randy Jones in his last 3 starts very ineffective. His last start, he lasted just through 6 batters and didn't pick up an out. And right now he's been reached for 4 runs on 7 hits. And just 2 1/3 innings. Randy came into the game with a record of 6 wins and 4 losses. And he goes out of the ball game on the losing side as St. Louis leads by a score of 4-0.
So Jones now, in his last 3 outings, totaling 3 2/3 innings, has allowed 11 runs on 15 hits and 3 home runs. So Mike Scott will become the new Mets pitcher, making his 2nd appearance out of the bullpen this year.
So Randy off to the dugout as we check out the scores in the National League. Montreal got 3 more runs in the 3rd and lead by a score of 5-0 after 3. Rowley now pitching for Chicago. The Cubs have lost 10 straight ball games. Charlie Lee pitching for Montreal, and he has a record of 4-2. Oliver a home run in the 1st with 1 on his 6th. No score after 2. Pittsburgh against Philadelphia. Candelaria against Christensen. Later on, Houston and San Diego. Atlanta and San Francisco, and Cincinnati against the Dodgers in L.A. In the American League at the end of 4, Boston 5, Cleveland 2. Sorensen pitching for Cleveland. They've lost 3 in a row. Ojeda started for Boston, knocked out in the 2nd. Bergmeyer taking over. At the end of 4 1/2, Oakland 1, Toronto 1. Kingman against Clancy. Baltimore with 5 in the 1st inning, leading the Yankees by a score of 5-3 after 3 1/2 innings. Mike Morgan started for the Yankees, still in. His record 3-2. Dennis Martinez pitching for Baltimore. His record 5-4. Renicky a home run his 14th, and Cal Ripken a home run his 5th. Detroit got 1 in the top of the 1st. Milwaukee now batting. Petrie against Vukovic. Vukovic with a record of 7-2 for the year. Petrie's won 6 and lost 3. California did not score in the 1st off Dotson. And now the White Sox coming up against Bruce Keeson. Keeson 4-2 in the year. Dotson 2-6. Seattle scheduled against Kansas City. That game to start later on. Gaylord Perry on the mound for Seattle. They've won 3 in a row. Perry with a record of 4-5. Vida Blue 4-3 pitching for Kansas City. Also scheduled but rained out Minnesota against Texas.
So Mike Scott, the new pitcher, making his 2nd straight appearance out of the bullpen after 12 straight starts. And he will face Tommy Herr. Scott 4-5 for the year with a 4.64 earned run average. As a starter, he had only 1 complete game. That was when he beat the Phillies here on April 14th, 8-1, and the first pitch to Herr is a strike. Herr popped out to 2nd base his only time up. So Darrell Porter, been the big man thus far. Talking to him before the ball game, he said his right hand still bothered him. Well, it certainly hasn't at the plate tonight. He's driven in 3 runs as Tommy Herr greets Mike Scott with a single. And the Cardinals with runners at 1st and 2nd, still only 1 out. Hal Lanier. Well, both the coaches of the Cardinals, former infielders for the Giants, Hal Lanier and Chuck Hiller. At different times. I don't think they ever were teammates as Ozzie Smith steps up. Smith with a single and a run scored back in the 2nd. And Scott catches a strike in the outside corner. Smith off to a good start for him, hitting .258. A couple of homers and 17 RBIs. Popped up left side. Foster coming on. Gardenhire going out. And Foster's got it for the second out. So there's 2 down with runners at first and second, and the pitcher Joaquin Andujar will be the hitter. Hey, this guy is tough, Andujar, and
Here's the pitcher.
tough overcoming a 4-run lead. But the one thing in the Mets' favor is that they've only batted twice thus far. Swings and misses. Sacrificed his only time up tonight. And that's low a ball. Now looking at my Cardinals sheet, the most runs that Andujar has given up all year have been 4, with the exception of one game against Cincinnati early when he got beat 8-2, going only 4 innings as he takes a strike. And Mike Scott out in front of him now. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Four to nothing St. Louis. And that will even it up 2-2. Porter over at second. Tommy Herr at first. 2-2 pitch. And that ball is fouled upstairs. So a lot of deuces. 2 on, 2 out, and a 2-2 count on the hitter. Here's the pitch. And that's high. So Scott with a full count on the pitcher. Runners will be off. And Andujar fouling that ball off. So Porter will return to second. And Tommy Herr over to first. Well, the Cardinals got into first place opening day. Then they wound up in 5th place after losing 3 in a row. But here's a base hit by Andujar, and the Redbirds out in front by a score of 5-0. That run charged to Randy Jones. So Jones charged with 5 runs here tonight. That's the second hit off of Scott.
Hit number 9 in this ball game by the Cardinals, who came in here hitting .272 as a team, and they have really jumped all over the Met pitching. Andujar, a switch hitting pitcher with a base hit to center field.
The Cardinals have been in first place for almost 2 months. They went into first place April 15th, and they've stayed there. Got a big 12-game winning streak after a 1-3 record, and that's up high a ball. Twice they've won 4 in a row, and the only losing streaks they've had. 4 times they've dropped 3 straight. As we mentioned, they've lost 4 of their last 5 coming into tonight's game. McGee with an RBI single is last time up, 1 for 2. So the final totals on Randy Jones: 2 1/3 innings, 5 runs on 7 hits, including a homer, walked a man and struck out a man. Mike Scott sent to the bullpen to work on some of his problems, primarily his slider and his changeup, making his second outing out of the bullpen. A swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Scott's first outing was against Pittsburgh in this homestand out of the bullpen. 2 innings, allowed a run on 2 hits. Here he has allowed 2 hits to the first 3 men that he has faced. And That's looped into right field, a base hit. And it's a 6-0 ball game now. The third hit off of Scott, and his run being charged to him in the form of Tommy Herr.
And the Cardinals keep piling it on. And for the second time, they have sent more than 8 men to the plate in 2 consecutive innings. This is the 9th batter to bat in this inning. In the second inning, they sent 8 men to the plate.
So Ramsey swings and misses. 1 for 2 tonight. The Mets in losing 6 of their last 8. That's low a ball. On June 1st, they gave up 13 hits, as you see Pat Zachary. Then 6 hits. Then they allowed 17 hits, 12 hits, 13 hits, 13 hits. In the last 2 games, 10 hits in each ball game. And here tonight, the Cardinals already with 10 hits in 2 2/3 innings. In one game, they allowed only 6 hits. They were defeated by Atlanta 3-1. That was the night that Phil Niekro was flirting with a no-hitter. 1-2 pitch. That's high. Cardinals with 3 in the second and 3 here in the third. Tap to the right side. Mets should be out of the inning, and they are. But for the second straight inning, the Cardinals send 8 men to the plate, and the result the same, coming up with 3 runs on 5 hits as they did in the last inning, and 2 men left on. So we go to the bottom of the third. The Cardinals 6, the Mets nothing. Scott, Wilson, and Baylor will bat for New York.
When the skies above Shea Stadium come alive with color, it can only mean one thing. That's right, fireworks night. A truly spectacular evening. This year, our fireworks show will be held on Saturday night, July 3rd, right after the Mets-Phillies game. For 1982, our show is titled Baseball, America's Game. In it, we salute Mets baseball over the past 2 decades, along with a special celebration to honor America. The world-famous Garucci family is back, and they put together the largest fireworks program ever to be held at Shea Stadium. Now, the Mets Fireworks Show is considered the best in New York area, and we aim to keep that tradition going. So get your holiday weekend started with us. Mark the date for Mets Fireworks Night, Saturday, July 3rd. Be sure to get your tickets in advance and come to the ballpark early. Fireworks Night at Shea. Be a part of it. For tickets, call Charge It at 212-944-9300.
Here's an exclusive offer for you fans. Metsline Sportswear is now offering this official satin jacket for just $44.95. This stylish item comes in a variety of sizes, and if you order right now, you'll receive this unique gold finish keyring absolutely free. Order now with major credit cards by calling 1-800-621-5800 or send $44.95 plus $2 for shipping and handling to Metsline Sportswear, Shea Stadium, Flushing, New York, 11368. Order your team jacket today.
Lorne Brown and Ralph Kiner back at Shea Stadium as we move to the bottom of the third. The Mets down by 6. And Gary Racich will bat for Mike Scott. Racich hitting 183 with a homer and 5 RBIs. He'll be followed by Mookie Wilson and Bob Baylor. So Mike Scott went 2/3 of an inning, allowed a run on 3 hits.
Cardinals, who saw a lot of Gary Racich this spring, do not put the overshift on against him. They do shift around and play him as a pull hitter.
I would have to think that's the way I would play him.
Well, the overshift is usually reserved for outstanding pull hitters. Racich does hit the ball well to left field. In fact, they've been working on him to hit the ball the other way. in special batting practice sessions.
That's the strike. You saw Andujar twice in the National League All-Star team. There they play him fairly well straight up. The shortstop pulled over near second, but not the 3 men on the right side of the infield as a few clubs do. And Racich flying out to center field, and Willie McGee has it, and there's one out.
Any time is the right time for Budweiser. Give it a try the next time you and your friends have it out in the town. If you're looking for great taste, Budweiser is ready when you are.
So Mookie Wilson, the batter. Mookie 0 for his last 9. Popped up to the shortstop his only time up. A little soft loop ball hit to Ozzie Smith back in the first inning. Goes after the first pitch. Hernandez does a pirouette, and Andujar in there in time. Nice play by Hernandez.
And it's lucky for Andujar that he didn't get his leg stepped on as he crossed over that bag making the tag. Could have broken his leg. Here's the throw, and a tough one from Hernandez, and watch where that foot is. He is extremely lucky. If Mookie comes down on that foot, it's all over. Fortunately, the stride was short enough that he didn't get hurt.
So 2 out, and Bob Baylor, the batter. Mets with 1 hit. That was a leadoff double in the second by George Foster. Baylor twice the #1 draft choice by the Baltimore Orioles out of school. And then in the American League expansion draft, he was drafted first by the Toronto Blue Jays. Now Andujar having a word with his shortstop, Ozzie Smith. That's a strike. Well, Ralph, you mentioned Cubs wise in picking up Jay Johnstone. Just hit a 3-run homer for them. He's already had 2 in about 4 games that he's played since being released from the Dodgers a couple weeks ago.
Pretty hard to take the bat away from him. He has a good swing.
Bob Baylor singles with 2 out here in the third. One of the few times the Mets fans have had something to cheer about. So Dave Kingman, the batter.
Dave has been spending most of his batting practice hitting the ball to right field and hitting flat-footed, trying to delay his swing just enough so he won't chase those low outside curveballs.
And he swings and misses, strike 1.
He was late in that swing trying to hit the ball the opposite way. He can hit the ball out of the ballpark in right field.
Kingman struggling a mite. Only 4 hits in his last 43 times up. And 2 of those home runs. They overshift on him. 3 men on the left side of the infield. Trying again to go the other way, and he loops it into the seats down the right field line. When the Mets were winning 11 out of 14, that stretch in from the 9th of May to the 24th of May, everything was working well. Timely hitting, the pitching was good, very few walks. There were about 5 or 6 games the Mets only walked 1 man, and they were winning. High of all. But in these last 18 games, this is the total of people on. So Kingman with 24 lifetime home runs against the Cardinals. 1 game, 19 men on, 11 men on, 25 men on, then 18, 16, 17, 16, and 13. And here tonight in 3 innings, Cardinals have had 11 base runners. Tap foul down the left side. So you tie that in with the fact that Toppy in the middle of your lineup have not been hitting, and it equals 6 losses in the last 8 games. 1-2 pitch. Outside.
Right there, a good example of being able to pull off the pitch when it broke out of the strike zone by delaying the start of your swing and trying to hit the opposite way. Start just a fraction of a second later.
2-2 pitch. Fly ball to center field, but Willie McGee is there. And he's got it to retire the side. No runs, a 2-out single, 1 man left. The end of 3. The Cardinals 6, the Mets nothing. It'll be Hernandez, Hendricks, and Lonnie Smith to bat in the 4th. Now this word from Budweiser.
Well, a new pitch in the game for the Mets. Pat Zachary replacing Mike Scott. Zachary with a record of 4 wins and 2 losses. He has no saves. This is his 3rd appearance as a relief pitcher and his 11th appearance of the season. He has an earned run average of 4.89. So it's Pat Zachary, 4-2. The 3rd pitcher used by George Bamberger as the Cardinals lead by a score of 6-0. They got 3 runs in the 2nd when they set 8 men to the plate, and 3 more runs in the 3rd, also sending 8 men to the plate. And Zachary in to hopefully hold down the Cardinals and give the Mets a chance to get back in this ball game.
Well, Zachary has not pitched in 2 weeks. His last outing was on the 29th of May. And he injured himself in that ball game. Twinges in his elbow, little tenderness in the elbow, and he's been shelved ever since that time, but he's been tabbed fit to play, and he's in here tonight. In fact, that game he went 4 1/3 innings, allowed 4 runs on 6 hits and walked 5 men. Houston won the game 5-2. It was his 2nd loss. Zachary has lost to the Giants and the Astros. He's beaten the Cubs, the Dodgers, Cincinnati, and Atlanta.